Welcome, dear students, once again for Rayat Online School Education Program 2021-22. Myself, Professor P.B. Sargade from Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karad, and we were studying the most important topic from our biology syllabus, that is ninth topic, control and coordination. This is our lecture number six, and we are going to study the disorders of nervous system and chemical coordination in this lecture. Now, what are the disorders of nervous system? We have studied the nervous system in detail in previous lectures, and in today's lectures we are talking about the disorders of nervous system. The psychological disorders are commonly called as mental disorders, and they are a wide range of conditions that affect the mood, thinking, or behavior. These affect multiple areas of life and create distress for the person suffering from it. So, the mental disorders are very much giving an imprint on one person's entire life. Now, some of the major categories of psychological disorders are: the first disorder is the intellectual disability. Formerly, it was known as mental retardation. Now, this condition is very bad and it is called as intellectual disability. Then, the second disability or disorder is the autism spectrum disorder. Then, the third is bipolar disorder. The fourth is most important, it is called as depression. Then, the fifth is anxiety disorder. Then, the sixth disorder of the psychological disorder is the ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Then the seventh disorder is stress related disorders. Now these are the major categories of psychological disorders and they are affecting the person's life. Now moving towards the next slide, the Parkinson's disease. Now we have heard so many times by the doctors in the elderly persons. What is this Parkinson's disease? The Parkinson's disease is nothing but the degeneration of dopamine producing neurons in the CNS, that is central nervous system, which causes Parkinson's disease. Then the symptoms which develop, they are gradually developing. They gradually develop over the years. The symptoms are tremors, then stiffness, difficulty in walking, balance, and coordination. These are the symptoms of the Parkinson's disease, and this is particularly found in the elderly old age persons. Then moving towards the next slide, the next disease or the next disorder is the Alzheimer's disease. The Alzheimer's disease, it is the most common form of dementia. Now this belongs to the dementia. Its incidence increases with the age, showing the loss of cognitive functioning, that is the functions like thinking, remembering, reasoning, and behavioral abilities to such an extent that it interferes with the person's daily life and activities. It occurs due to loss of cholinergic and other neurons in the CNS, that is central nervous system, accumulation of amyloid proteins. Now I will tell you once again, it occurs, this Alzheimer's disease, due to loss of cholinergic and other neurons in the CNS, that is central nervous system, and accumulation of amyloid proteins. There is no cure for Alzheimer's, but the treatment slows down the progression of disease and may improve the quality of life. Now this was about the Alzheimer's disease. Now moving towards the next point, the main important point in the control and coordination, the main part is the chemical coordination. Now what is chemical coordination and how it is different from the nervous coordination? The cells and organisms communicate with each other through chemical signals. Also, they are broadly of four types as follows. The first is the autocrines, that is the cells which release secretion to stimulate itself. Then paracrines, the cells, they release secretion to stimulate neighboring cells. Then endocrines, the cells which release secretion to stimulate distant cells. Then the next important is the pheromones, that is the organs which release secretions to stimulate other organism. Now these are the cells in chemical coordination. I will explain you once again the autocrines, the paracrines, the endocrines, and the pheromones. Now moving towards the next part, we will talk about the endocrine system. Now at the left hand corner here where the cursor is there, this is the human body, and these are the endocrine glands which are present in the body of an human being. This is the hypothalamus in the brain. Just beneath it there is a gland, we call it as pituitary or master endocrine gland, and just near to the hypothalamus there is another gland, it is called as pineal gland. Then in the neck region at the ventral side of the body there is thyroid and parathyroid glands. Then at the chest region there is presence of thymus gland. When we consider the abdominal region, there is presence of pancreas and presence of adrenal glands on both the kidneys at the upper side of the kidney. These are the adrenal glands. Now moving towards the pelvic region, there is presence of a pair of ovaries in case of the females and testes in case of the males. So this diagram indicates the various endocrine glands of the human body. It includes endocrine glands and their secretions. Now these secretions of these endocrine glands, they are called as hormones. Now remember this word very carefully, because the endocrine glands secrete their secretions directly into the blood, so they are called as endocrine glands, and the secretions are called as hormones. The hormones are non-nutrient chemicals that act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amounts. Now this was about the endocrine system. Now moving towards the next point, now this chart indicates the human endocrine system. Now when we study the endocrine glands, as explained earlier, this is the hypothalamus, then this is the pituitary, this is the pineal gland, here hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal gland, then thyroid gland in the neck region, then beneath the thyroid gland there is presence of a next gland, it is called as parathyroid gland. Then in the chest region there is presence of thymus gland, as explained you in the earlier diagram also. Then the adrenal gland, which is present in both in male and females above the kidney, at the upper surface of the kidney. Then the pancreas, which is present in the abdominal region. Then in case of the female, there is presence of ovary, a pair of ovaries, they are the female gonads, and testes in case of the males, so they are called as male gonads. Now we will talk in detail about the endocrine system. The endocrine system controls body activities by means of chemical messengers called as hormones. As explained you earlier, the hormones are released directly into the bloodstream or directly into the blood. The hormone is carried all over the body via blood. Then, however, the message is relayed only to the target organs, which are stimulated to carry out specific process which include activities like growth and development. Now this was a brief account about the endocrine system. Now moving towards the next slide, what are the properties of hormones? Now remember, the hormones, as we know, they are secreted by the endocrine glands. They are having specific properties. Now which are those properties? They act as chemical messengers and are effective in very low concentration. Then hormones can function as regulators that inhibit or stimulate or modify specific processes. Now these 2 points, they are very much important. I will repeat again. The hormones, they act as chemical messengers and are effective in very low concentration. Now remember, the amount of hormones is very less. They are low in concentration, though they are not produced or they are not secreted in large amount, but they are instead they are secreted in very low amount or low concentration, but they are very effective. Then hormones can function as regulators that inhibit or stimulate or modify specific processes. Some hormones interact with receptors present on plasma membrane of target cells, whereas some enter the nucleus to interact with genes. Then hypersecretion or hyposecretion of hormones, they leads to various disorders. These are metabolized after their function, thus they cannot be reused, and the hormone secretion is regulated by positive or negative feedback mechanism. Now these are the properties of hormones. You have to study these properties in detail because so many times these properties are asked in short answer type of questions. Now moving towards the next slide, the chemical nature of hormones. Now I will explain you in detail. The first is the amines. These are simple amines, that is catecholamines secreted by adrenal medulla, then epinephrine and non-epinephrine, and melatonin from pineal gland. Some are modified from amino acids, that is example is the thyroxine. Now this was about the amines nature of the hormone. Then peptide hormones, second. These hormones consist of long or short chains of amino acids. Sorry. Example, hormones of hypothalamus, oxytocin, ADH, GnRH. These are the peptide hormones. Then the third hormones, these are the protein hormones. They include insulin, glucagon, then TSH, FSH, LTH, GH, and relaxin. Now I will discuss in detail about all these hormones which are having protein in nature. Then fatty acid derivatives. These are called as prostaglandins. Then the fifth type is the steroid hormones. These hormones are lipid soluble and derived from cholesterol and other steroids. Example are the estrogen, then testosterone, aldosterone. Action of these hormones is concerned with long lasting responses. And the next is the gaseous in nature, that is NO, that is nitric oxide. Now this was about the chemical nature of hormones, and in many instances the question was asked on this point, chemical nature of hormones. Now moving towards the next point, that is the mechanism of hormone action. Now when we talk about the mechanism of hormone action, the hormones are released in a very small quantity. They produce their effect on the target organs, cells, by binding to hormone receptors. Now remember, they are binding to hormone receptors. Listen this carefully. The hormone receptors may be on the cell membrane or may be intracellular. These hormone receptors, they may be on the cell membrane or may be the intracellular. Then a hormone receptor complex is formed, and this leads to biochemical change in the target tissue. Now this is the mechanism of hormone action. Then moving towards in the mechanism of hormone action, here by the diagrammatic representation, the mechanism of hormonal action can be seen very properly. Now this was about the steroid hormones. They act on the receptor protein, or they bind with the receptor protein. Then through the nuclear pore, the receptor protein, it enters inside, and this is the hormone receptor complex which is formed, and this is the DNA. It is formed with the nucleic material. This is the nucleus. Then the plasma membrane of target cell, this is the new protein which is synthesized, and this is the cytoplasm. This is the mRNA. By this way, the steroid hormones, they act, they need a protein receptor. Now here, the hormones produce their effects by binding to specific proteins, that is hormone receptors located in target tissues. Then a hormone binds to its specific receptor to form hormone receptor complex. It leads to biochemical changes in target tissue, and thereby it regulates metabolism and physiological functions. Now this is the mechanism of hormone action. Now moving towards the next, next mechanism of hormone action is here. Now here, the extracellular hormone response. The hormone receptors are of two types: membrane bound receptors. Here, this hormone receptor is membrane bound. It is attached to the outer membrane of the cell. Then the intracellular receptors, which are present inside the cells. Now remember these points again: the membrane bound receptors here and the intracellular receptors are here. Then the mode of hormone action through the membrane receptors, as explained to you earlier. Now this is the hormone, for example FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. This is the receptor. Remember, this is the hormone and this is the receptor. This is the ovarian cell membrane. Here what happens? The hormone, for example FSH, binds to the receptor here. The second, the hormone receptor complex is formed here. This is the response 1. Then it generates second messenger, that is cyclic AMP or Ca++ here. The generation of second messenger, that is cyclic AMP or Ca++. Then there is the biochemical response, and after that the physiological response, for example ovarian growth, is carried out. Here this is the mechanism of hormone action, which is a protein hormone. Now moving towards the next point, some hormones interact with membrane bound receptors, they do not enter the target cell, and it generates second messenger, for example the cyclic AMP, IP3 or Ca++, and it in turn regulates cellular metabolism and causes physiological effects. Now this is the mode of hormone action through the membrane receptors. Now moving towards the next point, the mode of action through intracellular receptors. This is the uterine cell membrane. This is the hormone, for example estrogen. Here the hormone receptor complex is here. Then this is the nucleus. This is the genome, that means mRNA. Then formation of proteins, then physiological response, tissue growth and differentiation. We are going to see this. This is the mechanism of hormone action in case of the steroid hormone. Here some hormones interact with intracellular receptors. Now this intracellular receptor is here. Mostly the nuclear receptors, for example steroid hormones, iodothioneins, here these are the intracellular receptors. They mostly regulate gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. Remember, this is the intracellular receptor and it mostly regulates gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex with the genome. This is the hormone receptor complex. The cumulative biochemical actions result in physiological and developmental effects. Here the action is seen, and it is in case of the steroid hormones. Now moving towards the next slide, the major endocrine glands in the body of human being. Now when we talk about the major endocrine glands, as explained to you in the earlier diagrams, the hypothalamus in the brain is the major endocrine part. Then the pituitary gland, or it is also called as hypophysis or hypophyseal gland. Previously it was called as master endocrine gland, pituitary gland. Then the third is the pineal gland. Now these hypothalamus, pituitary gland and pineal, they are present in the cranium, that is the skull or near the brain. Then the next is the thyroid gland, which is present in the neck. Then parathyroid gland, it is again present in the neck. Then thymus gland in the chest region. Then adrenal glands, or they are also called as suprarenal gland. As the name suggests, they are present above the kidneys, both the kidneys in case of the male and female. then pancreas, and the gonads. The gonads, in case of the male, the testes are there, and in case of female, the ovaries are there. And the next is the diffuse endocrine glands. These are the major endocrine glands in case of the human being. Now moving forward, what is the hypothalamus? Here the diagrammatically it is shown. This is the hypothalamus. It is present beneath the brain. There are the neurosecretory cells or nuclei of hypothalamus which secrete the following types of hormones. These are releasing hormones, then inhibiting hormones, and oxytocin and vasopressin. Now we will talk about the hypothalamus in detail. The hypothalamus, it is ectodermal in origin. Remember, it is not endodermal or mesodermal in origin. It is ectodermal in origin. It is located, as shown you in the previous diagram, at the floor of diencephalon. The major function of hypothalamus is to maintain homeostasis. It controls the secretory activity of pituitary gland by the release and inhibiting hormones. All hormones of hypothalamus are peptide hormones. Remember, they are secreted by the neurosecretory cells, so they are called neurohormones. I will explain you again. The hypothalamus, it controls the secretory activity of pituitary gland by the release and inhibiting hormones. Then all hormones of hypothalamus are peptide hormones. Remember, this may be asked in the MCQs. They are secreted by the neurosecretory cells, so they are called neurohormones. The hormones they are secreted by hypothalamus are ADH and oxytocin, etc. Now moving towards the next point, the hormones which are secreted here, these are, the first is the adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone. Now remember these hormone very clearly. Adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates, what it does, it stimulates the release of ACTH by the anterior pituitary gland. Then the next is the thyrotropin releasing hormone. It stimulates the release of TSH, that is the thyroid stimulating hormone, by anterior pituitary gland. The next, the third is gonadotropin releasing hormone, or it is also called as GnRH. It stimulates pituitary to secrete gonadotropins. Then the fourth is prolactin inhibiting hormone, or it is simply called as prolactostatin. It inhibits prolactin release by anterior pituitary gland. Remember, first adrenocorticotropin releasing hormone, the second thyrotropin releasing hormone, the fourth is gonadotropin releasing hormone or GnRH, and the fourth is prolactin inhibiting hormone, or it is simply called as prolactostatin. It inhibits the prolactin release by anterior pituitary gland. The fifth is the somatostatin. It inhibits the release of growth hormone. Then the sixth is the somatotropin. It stimulates the release of growth hormone. And the seventh is the gastrin releasing peptide, that is GRP. And the eighth is the gastric inhibitory polypeptide, or it is also called as GIP. So remember all these points, these 8 points very clearly, because they are asked so many times in the MCQs as well as in the short answer questions and in long answer questions. Now here we have started the study of chemical coordination in the human body. As the nervous coordination, the chemical coordination is very much important in case of the human being, and this is done by the secretion and action of the hormones. And hormones are very specific, though they are secreted in very much less amount inside the body, and they determine the entire metabolism and functioning, development and growth of the body. Now here we conclude our 8th lecture, and in the next lecture we will study the pituitary gland and other parts or other glands. For this point we will stop here. Thank you all of you.